you, I hope you don't mind me saying, but we were chatting before the session, and you were saying that when you had dinner with Ricky last night, he had a couple of new ideas that you're interested in.
Yeah, he said he was on about a particular comedian. He said, I really like that person. I've always wanted to do this particular idea where he described a character who was unacceptable and un-PC. Surprise. And I was like, perfect, yeah, we'd go straight to series. And he went, well, let's discuss it. I was like, I don't really need to discuss it. So, yeah, if he wants to do it, we're here. And then he talks about another idea that he'd wanted to do for a while. I said, yeah, literally, no, doesn't need to be discussion on that. When I first joined Sky...
Does that mean they're quite likely to happen, or Ricky needs to go and think about it?
On my side, yeah, he's pushing against an open door. I mean, we'd need to discuss what shape the show would take, and what the money would be, and where it would be. But, yeah, I mean, my team, I owe it to my team and to the viewers that if I paid 20 quid a month for Sky, I hope that the person in charge has the balls to commission Ricky Gervais on a one-line pitch.
Wow.
I phoned Baby Cow and said, so bring Gavin and Stacey to Sky. And I was determined to make Sky One the entertainment equivalent of Sky Sports or Movies or Arts or Sky News, the best in breed. And so we had a brief discussion, and Henry said, what will you offer? And I went, 2 series and a film. And
Henry Normal, who runs Baby Cow.
Yeah, sorry, head of Baby Cow, who make Gavin and Stacey. And he said, OK, I said, I just need to clear it with my boss. I called Sophie Turner-Lang. She called Jeremy Darroch. Within 4 minutes, she came back and said, make the offer. And I went, do we not need to clear it with them? And she went, we are them, which is such a great Sky statement.
Right. Yeah.
And so I made the offer, and as it turned out, they wanted to stay at the BBC and finish it at the BBC, and I sort of respect them for that. And the second stage in my strategy was, all right, I can't get Gavin and Stacey, but I want to get the next thing. So signed up Ruth Jones to do 10 1-hours of Stella, which is on in the new year, which is great. Signed up James to do A League of Their Own, which is going to Series 4 and Series 5, which I absolutely love, and I think creatively it is the genre winner next to Question of Sport, I would say. Probably a bit too competitively for me. I mean, probably in a competitive way, I think it outshines that.
It's definitely better than A Question of Sport.
Yeah, it definitely is. Question of Sport is rubbish.
It's a low bar, yeah. Wall of Fame. Yeah. As I understand it, I don't personally check ratings, but as I understand it, that hasn't rated. Is that accurate?
No, it didn't rate as highly as I wanted it to rate.
What was it getting per episode?
It's getting about 250. I think it started at 300, it went down. And we showed it several times a week, and I think each repeat got about 100,000. So in total, and I'm guessing, Richard, but it got about 500,000, I think.
Okay. What did you hope it would get?
I suppose I was hoping it would do A League of Their Own type figures, which gets about, I think on an overnight gets about 600,000, and then when you take into account Sky Plus, which we always do, it gets about 900,000, I think. So I think a few things I'd say. One is it's pointless banging on about taking creative risk if, when there's a failure, you run away from it, as a general point. I think that sounds like I've just said Wall of Fame's a failure, and I'm aware that journalists might think, he's just said Wall of Fame's a failure. But the general point is...
Is it a failure?
No, it's not a failure. I think there are 2 types of David you can get. There are David, who's very Gucci, Prada, art gallery visiting, sophisticate, and does interesting drama, and is thoughtful and reflective. And then there's a David who dresses up in a dress and mucks about and is ludicrous.
Yeah.
And I think my guide to the guys when they were making the show was, we want Prada David. And actually, I don't know if we should have had Prada David. And pretty early on, as in 2 episodes in, we said, why are we getting one of the most animated performers, like a kind of Lee Evans character, sitting behind a desk? Why are we doing that? When you see him on Little Britain, he is a brilliant, ebullient performer, and he's sitting down. It's like handicapping someone's talent. So get him up from behind the desk. The In-Betweeners, I think, is genius. I think he's absolute genius. And about, a month ago, within the past month, they had a stacked In-Betweeners night. I tried to nick the In-Betweeners for Sky.
Did you?
Yeah, and I didn't manage to get it. But I really want to work with the guys. And I'm going to make sure it happens. But I think that's brilliant, and hats off to Angela for... In fact, she did Misfits as well, which is brilliant. Yeah.